As someone just getting into the game of golf, you probably wouldn't be aware of how important tempo and balance are to making your golf swing repeat, to being consistent. We all want to be consistent. Tempo and balance is the glue that holds it all together. Tempo is time, balance is mainly in your feet. We're going to give you some thoughts on how you can find your best tempo, thoughts to help you have a good tempo when you play. And I'm going to talk about balance, and particularly one thing at the end of the swing that as a newcomer to the game, I want you to really focus on. And as we sort of come to the end of putting your golf swing together in a way that you can get to the golf course, whether you're a beginner, a relative newcomer, someone who's just getting a reset, let us not leave out tempo and balance. They are the glue that holds all the pieces we've talked about together. Tempo being the amount of time it takes you to swing the golf club. We should never swing at a speed we cannot handle, because golf is a game of distance and control. It's a game of consistency. We don't get 100 goes and get to just count one ball. We have to count them all when we're playing golf. So tempo is the amount of time it takes. Balance is what allows us to repeat it. So let me talk about tempo. Tempo for me would mean your swing has a cadence. When you feel comfortable that you can get your hands on the club properly, that you can aim the face, that you can align the body, that you've done your homework with the small swing, the half swing, the heartbeat swing, the full swing. When you feel that you've learned to pull more than you push, when you've learned to touch down before the club lifts off, all those things, when you've learned to draw your driver, start to put a bit of tempo and balance in. How would you do that? Well, tempo is a count. I have two favorites, and then I'm going to give you one by a multiple PGA Tour winner. My two favorites are, as I'm swinging, I will count to myself 1, 2, 3 as I'm going up, and I will count to myself 1, 2, 3 as I'm coming through. Sometimes it's out loud when I'm on the range by myself. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it adds a level of sort of rhythm to the golf swing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It adds a level of timing to it. I like hitting balls saying that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It sort of declutters the mind sometimes when you've been thinking too much about technique. So the first cadence I like people to use is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The second cadence I will use if a player needs a little bit of help having the legs lead the follow through. The forward swing, perhaps I should say. And we all need that. We did the exercise with the box there, didn't we, in the heartbeat. That the lower leads, I always say the lower leads. So the cadence I would have if I need a player to just move the lower body a little bit more would be slightly different than 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The cadence would be 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And I'm not going to swing down until I've said in my own head or out loud, and. So I would want to be, if I need just a bit more leg action, give myself a little more time for leg action, I'm going to be 1 and 2. I'm just going to give myself a little bit more time in the transition. 1 and 2. So you can see that makes the swing very, very oily. It puts the oil in the engine. We want the swing to look like a well-oiled engine when we've put it all together. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Striking the ball somewhat down my line there. The third cadence, and I'm just giving you choices, because you'll probably find one of these will suit you better than the other two. As I said, my favorite is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But the other cadence came from a player who won the Masters, he won the PGA Championship, he won more tournaments in his 40s than anybody other than the great Sam Snead. And he would always say, as he was swinging to himself, 17. That was his. If you want to speed up your swing a little bit, 17. 17. Now you need to figure which of those three works best for you. Is it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? That's my favorite. That's Martin's favorite. Is it 1 and 2? Some people really like that. Or is it 17? They're different tempos, but they all serve a wonderful purpose. 7 14. Now that feels a bit too quick for me. Doesn't mean it's too quick for you, but it feels a bit too quick for me. That's why I'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But one of those tempos will help you greatly. Now, I said the balance is part of it. There's no doubt about that. When someone is off balance, balance being that they're falling to the heels or the toes at some point during the swing, the arms will tend to make erratic motion. So balance really does matter in golf. And balance can be best practiced with one of two ways you can do it. You could take, as a beginner, you may not have one of these. You might have, it's called an alignment stick. You can find them at the golf shops. It might be a helpful tool as a beginner to get for alignment and other things, but I'm going to give you an option for this. But if you had an alignment stick, you could stand on that alignment stick and you would find that the pressure, the balance, is right under the place for your feet where you would tie your shoelaces, right under your arches. You're not too much on the toes, you're not too much on the heels, the balance is right under the arches. I'm 50-50, weight on the toes, weight on the heels, 50-50. As I make my backswing, because we turn, the weight will probably go a little bit towards my trail heel, you can see that. And as I swing down, it'll probably go a little bit towards my lead heel, you can probably see that. But I like hitting golf balls standing on an alignment rod, or the other alternative I am going to give you, and just the feeling of how the feet connect to the ground. So I've got my balance, I've got my tempo, and hopefully that looks like a nice, oily, pretty smooth golf swing indeed. Now the last thing with balance, which is always a great swing thought when you are on the golf course, a great swing thought is freeze the finish. Freeze the finish for good balance. Freeze the finish, just hold the finish. Can you hold the finish? And I have a count to that as well. And that count would be when you've hit the ball, can you say out loud, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now I want to make this quite clear. You should either be working on your tempo or on your balance. You can't do both. I mean, all these segments that I've talked about in this sort of introduction to how to play golf, you work on one piece at a time. You're not trying to take the whole bottle of aspirins at one go. But I am going to focus on this occasion on trying to hold my finish. And so my demand on myself is hold it, hold it, hold it. Good tempo, good balance. They go a long way towards producing good golf shots. So here we go. Hold it, hold it, hold it. If you work on your tempo or you work on your balance and you improve either, or preferably both, you are going to play better.